Welcome back to our channel, Soap Bands. Today is a fantastic day to dive deep into the drama of Salem. If you're ready for some mind-bending theories, heartbreaking updates, and a whole lot of chaos, you are in the exact right place. Grab your coffee, settle into your favorite chair, and let's get right into the thick of it. Do you guys think there will be absolute chaos next week in Salem? Because I am looking at the upcoming spoilers and my mind is racing with the possibilities. We are talking about sweeps week level drama, the kind of stuff that makes Days of Our Lives the absolute gold standard of daytime television. Specifically, I am looking at the impending tragedies surrounding our beloved Lexie Carver and the absolute circus that might just erupt at her funeral. Let's be real for a second. Nothing in Salem ever goes smoothly, especially not a final goodbye. But the theories swirling around this particular storyline are blowing my mind. Let's start with the hard, heartbreaking truth that we are all currently facing. We know Lexi is dying. It is a reality that I think a lot of us longtime fans are struggling to accept. Lexie Carver is a legacy character, a brilliant doctor, a fiercely loyal mother, and the emotional anchor for Abe Carver. Seeing her hospitalized, looking so incredibly weak and fragile, is just gut-wrenching television. The doctors, the very colleagues she has worked alongside to save countless lives at Salem University Hospital, are completely helpless. They cannot improve her condition. They are throwing their hands up, and that is a terrifying sight. You have to appreciate the cruel irony the writers have crafted here. Lexi, the woman who has dedicated her entire life to healing others, is now lying in a hospital bed with an incurable condition, and all the medical science in the world cannot save her. It is tragic. It is poetic, and it is going to destroy us all. Fans of Days can easily predict how this is going to play out in the short term. We are going to watch Lexi quickly decline. The pacing of these soap opera illnesses is always a roller coaster, but once they hit the hospital bed phase, the end is usually near. And the true tragedy isn't just losing Lexi. It is watching Abe and young Theo helplessly stand by as she slips away. I honestly don't think my heart can take watching Abe Carver break down. Abe is the stoic rock of Salem. He is the former police commissioner, the mayor, the man who has stared down serial killers, mobsters, and international terrorists without blinking. But against this disease, he is completely powerless. The look of absolute despair on his face as he holds his dying wife's hand is going to be Emmy-worthy material, mark my words. And then there is Theo. Oh, sweet, innocent Theo. Navigating grief is hard enough for any child, but for a neurodivergent child like Theo, the world is already a complex place. How does Abe explain to him that his mother, his primary source of comfort and understanding, is never coming back? The psychological toll this is going to take on the Carver family is immense. I am absolutely dreading the scene where Lexi takes her final breath. We all know it is coming. The monitors will flatline, the tears will fall, and Salem will lose one of its brightest lights. But here's the kicker, guys. This is Days of Our Lives. Death is rarely the end of the story, and a funeral is almost never just a peaceful gathering of mourners. So, after the inevitable heartbreak of Lexi's passing, Abe and Theo are going to have to do the hardest thing imaginable. They are going to organize her funeral. They will pick out the flowers, choose the hymns, and gather the town to pay their final respect. We can picture the scene perfectly. St. Luke's will be packed. Everyone from Marlena and John to Roman and Kayla will be there, dressed in black, dabbing their eyes. Abe will be standing at the front, trying to hold it together for his son, delivering a eulogy that will leave not a single dry eye in the audience. And you won't believe what happens next, at least according to the wildest, most incredible theory floating around the fandom right now. What if, in the middle of this somber, heartbreaking ceremony, absolute pandemonium breaks out? What if Abe and Theo step up to the casket for one final goodbye, they lift the lid, and they are completely paralyzed by shock? Because the casket is completely, unequivocally empty. Boom. Just let that sink in for a minute. An empty casket. Can you believe it? I honestly didn't see that coming when I first read the fan theories, but the more I think about it, the more it makes perfect, twisted Salem sense. Imagine the sheer chaos erupting in the church. Abe, already shattered by grief, suddenly thrust into a state of panic and rage. Theo, utterly confused and traumatized. The guests gasping, murmuring, looking around as if the culprit is hiding in the choir loft. This isn't just a plot twist, this is a nuclear bomb dropping on the Carver family's mourning process. Let's break down exactly why this predicted story is not only possible, but highly probable in the wild world of Days of Our Lives. First of all, we have to look at the historical precedent. An empty casket in Salem is basically a rite of passage. We have seen it before. Remember when Marlena supposedly died? Remember the endless resurrections of Stefano di Mera? In this town, if you don't have a body, you do not have a death. Hell, half the time, even if you do have a body, doctor, Rolf is waiting in the wings with a glowing green syringe to bring them back. This brings me to my primary suspect in the case of the missing Lexi, her own father, the Phoenix himself, Stefano di Mera. We all know Stefano's relationship with his children is deeply toxic, fiercely possessive, and completely unbound by the laws of nature or morality. Lexi is his blood. She is a di Mera. Do you really think Stefano is going to just sit in his mansion, sipping brandy, and accept that a simple medical condition has defeated his daughter? Absolutely not. Stefano does not accept defeat, and he certainly does not accept death when it comes to his family. My theory? Stefano is going to hijack his own daughter's corpse. I know, it sounds incredibly morbid and twisted, but this is Stefano we are talking about. I believe that while Abe is busy grieving and making funeral arrangements, Stefano will deploy his loyal henchmen to intercept Lexi's body. Why? Because Stefano has access to science that the doctors at Salem University Hospital don't even know exists. He has Dr. Wilhelm Rolf on speed dial. I'm fully convinced that Stefano believes Rolf's resurrection serum or some new experimental di Mera technology can cure Lexi's incurable disease, but only if she is brought to a secret underground lab immediately. Think about the psychological warfare this inflicts on Abe. Abe despises Stefano. He has spent his entire career trying to lock the man up. And now, the ultimate violation, Stefano stealing his wife's body. It transforms Abe's storyline from a tragic tale of mourning into a high-stakes, adrenaline-fueled mystery. Abe isn't going to just sit down and cry if that casket is empty. He's going to tear Salem apart brick by brick. He will go full rogue cop, kicking down doors at the di Mera mansion, demanding answers. It gives Abe a sense of purpose, a burning mission that temporarily overrides his crushing grief. I am here for angry, vengeful Abe Carver. But we also have to consider the sheer cruelty of this twist. Having an empty casket denies Abe and Theo the closure they so desperately need. It leaves them in a torturous state of limbo. Is she really dead? Did she wake up? Was she kidnapped? The human brain cannot process grief properly when there is a shred of impossible hope dangling in front of it. It is psychological torture, and the writers know that this kind of emotional agony makes for the most compelling daytime television. Let's explore another angle, just to play devil's advocate. What if Lexi isn't dead at all? What if the doctors were wrong? Or what if Lexi, being a brilliant medical mind herself, realized there was an experimental, highly dangerous treatment available, but she had to go off the grid to get it? Could Lexi have faked her own death to spare her family the pain of watching her endure a gruesome, uncertain trial? It is a bit of a stretch, considering how fiercely she loves Theo and Abe, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Maybe she enlisted someone on the inside, a trusted colleague, to swap the medical records and sneak her out of the hospital right before the end. If Lexi orchestrated the empty casket herself, the betrayal Abe will feel when he finally discovers the truth will be astronomical. However, my money is firmly on di Mera interference. The history between the Carvers and the di Meras is just too rich to ignore. Stefano has always felt that Abe was unworthy of his daughter. He has always tried to pull Lexi back into the dark, manipulative fold of the di Mera family. Stealing her away in death is the ultimate power move. It is Stefano saying to Abe, "She was mine before she was yours, and she will be mine for eternity." It is sick, it is twisted, and it is brilliant soap opera writing. I also want to talk about how the rest of Salem will react to this potential chaos at the funeral. Imagine Hope Brady's reaction, her best friend's body missing. Hope will be right there alongside Abe, launching a massive Salem PD investigation. Roman, Rafe, the whole police force will be mobilized. The town will be in an uproar. Funerals in Salem are usually a time for old feuds to be paused, for enemies to share a brief moment of humanity. But this empty casket will ignite a war. It will be the Carvers and the Bradys going head to head against the DiMera Empire in a battle for Lexie's very soul. And what if Dr. Rolf actually succeeds? Let's project this storyline a few months down the road. Abe has mourned an empty box. He is slowly trying to rebuild his life with Theo. And then, one rainy night, there is a knock at the door. Abe opens it, and there stands Lexi, alive, breathing, but perhaps not entirely herself. The side effects of Rolf's serums are notorious: amnesia, personality changes, brainwashing. What if Stefano brings Lexi back, but brainwashes her to hate Abe and embrace her DiMera heritage completely? That would be the ultimate tragedy. Abe gets his wife back, but she is a stranger, a pawn in Stefano's endless game of chess. The possibilities that stem from an empty casket are endless, which is why I am so incredibly invested in this theory. It honors the history of the show, it utilizes the legacy characters perfectly, and it provides that massive, jaw-dropping cliffhanger that keeps us tuning in day after day. It takes a sad, depressing medical storyline and injects it with mystery, suspense, and high-stakes drama. I honestly cannot wait to see how next week unfolds. Will we get the quiet, heartbreaking goodbye, or will we get the explosive, empty casket chaos? If you ask me, the writers owe it to Lexi to give her a send-off that shakes Salem to its very core. She is a DiMera, after all, and DiMeras do not go quietly into the night. So, what do you guys think? Are you ready for the heartbreak of Lexi's decline? Do you buy into the empty casket theory? Who do you think would be responsible for stealing her body? Stefano? A rogue doctor? Or someone completely out of left field? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below because I want to read every single one of them. Let's debate, let's theorize, and let's prepare ourselves for an emotional roller coaster. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you never miss a Salem update, and I will see you all next time for more Days of Our Lives deep dives.